Ready to go!
Hi guys, I just wanted to give you a quick little rundown of some of the best pullers in South Australia at the moment. What I wanted to do was sort of look at the guys who have been active currently. So this is a bit of an overview. There are some really strong guys in the state that haven't been able to compete recently or haven't been had the opportunity because COVID has ruined a lot of tournaments and a lot of opportunities for super matches, etc. So this is just a brief rundown of some of the guys that are sitting at the top of the mountain, in my opinion, at this point in time. And I wanted to give some honourable mentions before we started. And that is obviously to Gunter's Baikovs. He's definitely the number one in the state. He hasn't trained for 2 years. This guy at any point in time could come back, potentially be one of the best in the country, let alone the state. So we had a bit of a training session with him a couple of weeks ago for the first time. He's been on a table in over 2 years, absolutely destroyed all of us. He can pronate from any position he likes at any point in time. You feel like a 5-year-old versing their dad. This guy is unbelievably strong. His knowledge around the table, he's just unstoppable. At any point in time, that's your number one. But because he has sort of semi-retired, I'm hoping he's going to come back at some point in the future. We're going to leave him off the list at the moment, but he is an honourable mention. Also, Ryan Mclaren, one of the best in the state, really nice guy from the Riverland, hasn't had the opportunity to compete recently, so I don't exactly know where he is at this point in time, but a very, very strong puller. Same with Sean Speed, fantastic top roll, same thing, he's from the Riverland, not being able to compete recently, so I don't exactly know where he is, but he is a really strong guy. So also Lass Botha, so coming from South Africa, one of the champions over there. He actually came over to Adelaide, started pulling with the club, got to probably within 6 to 8 months, he was destroying everybody and challenging some of the best people in the state and defeating them in super matches. So he had a bit of a year break. He's only just come back last week for the first time. So interesting to see if he continues with the training, what sort of level he would be at. And our final honourable mention is Andrew Centerfini. So he won the right hand 95 kilo class a couple of years ago. He's basically said that he's retired. Still, I mean, same thing, if he wanted to come back at any point in time, he would be one of the best in the state. But at the moment, currently retired. So that being said, that's our honourable mentions. Number one at the moment, in my opinion, Taran Broad. No surprises there. He's destroying everybody at training. I think he's coming every second week at the moment to rest his arm. But yes, super strong on the hook, sitting around the 80 kilo class. Once he gets in that tight position and drives, it's incredibly hard to stop. He's a rising star, so hopefully he's going to continue with the training. I know he's going over to the House of Pain this week, and we can see how far he can get on a national level. Number two, I've got Sledge Matanocki. So he has an incredible inside game as well. He's sort of looking really strong in the hook. He's been pushing Taran in recent times, but he would get comfortable wins against most of the people in training and at the club. So very strong guy, nice guy. He built the table I'm leaning on at the moment, so he loves arm wrestling, and he's awesome. He's doing really well. So I'd say he's sitting at that number 2 position at the moment. Number 3, I've got Matt Biscoe, the engineer. So Matt has an incredibly strong wrist, and he loves to sit in this spot here. He gets pushed to this spot and he'll sit, and you cannot get that wrist to bend down. He's sitting like that. He loves it. I don't know if he does it deliberately, but he just gets in that spot. You can't get through that wrist. He's very quick off the mark. He's been doing really well in tournaments. He did fantastically at the Real Cup event we had in February. So he's had some really close super matches as well. I'd say he's definitely sitting at number 3 spot. Number 4, I have Graham the Viking, Tim Graham, and I was sort of tossing up where to put these guys in the 3 and 4 position because they have had some back and forth. And I would say I'd slightly put Matt just a little bit higher at the moment, just based off of the recent tournament results. So Tim is a very experienced puller. He he's very technical, super quick off the start, good in most positions around the table, very knowledgeable, very experienced, and I'd say he would be a favourite in most matches going against everyone else in the club. Apart from those first three that I've mentioned, he has very close matches against those. Fifth, I'm going to put myself. So I've been pulling for about 2 years now, sort of moving up in the rankings in the club. These other guys that I've just mentioned, we're having some close back and forths. In slow pulls, I can sort of get some wins. In competition starts, all four of them do still blow me away. I really need to work on my competition starts, but I feel very strong in the chop roll, starting to get stronger in the hook. I think if I continue with my progress, that pushing these guys along, and hopefully they're going to push me along, and we can rise up together and sort of increase our skills as we go along. That's one of the funny things about arm wrestling and arm wrestling with the club, is that you are improving, and you're improving, but everyone else is improving at the same time. So it feels like you're not moving anywhere, because some weeks as I've said, some weeks you're the hammer, some weeks you're the nail. Some weeks you feel like you're doing really well, and then other weeks you're getting beaten by the same people you were beating last week. The good thing about that is that if you compared yourself from 6 months ago or a year ago, you'd absolutely destroy yourself. So it can be a bit of a mind game where you feel like you're not progressing, but the reality is that everyone is progressing and everyone is getting better, which is what makes people get better. Iron sharpens iron, and that's what we're aiming for in the club. So some of the other mentions I wanted to talk about, some of the people in the club that are sort of sitting around that upper level. So maybe not in their top 5 at the moment, but doing very well in their arm wrestling. So we've got Leon Babs doing fantastic. He actually had a super match with Matt Sledge Matanocki 2 weeks ago. Got the first 2 pins on Matt before Matt came back to win 3-2, but looking very strong, very fast off the hit. He has a fantastic lat drag off the hit through to his top roll. He's challenging lots of different people for super matches. So interesting to see how he goes. I'd sort of sit him around, maybe the 6-7 mark at the moment. We've also got Roman. So Roman's doing really well. He beat me in the tournament. Super strong wrist, great back pressure. I think they're actually going to have a super match tomorrow between Leon and Roman. So very interested to see how that plays out. Roman is a labourer, so he has years of I think he's a concreter, mixing concrete, working really hard with his wrists. So it feels like iron when you're trying to get through that wrist. You really just got to use a lot of your sort of technical knowledge to keep him out of that position, because he's very strong once he gets into it. Richard Gibbs, hands of stone. Richard is a bit of a flop presser, so he loves to get his wrist back like this, get his body behind it and push down. He's a master at doing that position. If you see in the Real Cup tournament, he did this several times. Confused a lot of the other arm wrestlers. They didn't know how to sort of deal with it, especially because he's giving up his wrist. So if you're a top roller, you think, oh great, I've got top position, I'm in a really good spot, and then all of a sudden your arm is going down because he's got his shoulder behind, he's pushing down. He's very experienced, he's doing really well. I'd say he's definitely one of the best guys around at the club. Interesting to see if he starts to develop some other techniques, whether he wants to sort of turn into a hook, or if he wants to sort of look at the top roll as well as the flop press, but I think he's sort of specialised in that area. He's very good at it, so we'll see how he comes along in the next few months. Okay, so we've got another up-and-comer, Dave Stockbridge. New to the arm wrestling world, maybe 6 months in now, I think. Former bodybuilder, very strong, coming in with I keep telling him sort of it's in between a top roll and a hook. They're sort of trying to get the techniques right first, but very strong arm. He took out the beginners class in the Real Cup tournament that we had just recently, dominating the field there. Wonderful guy. He's really into arm wrestling, and I think his progression, depending on how he sort of coordinates that technique with his wrist and his movement, he has potential to be one of the best guys in the state. Stephen Carroll, looking great. He's developing like a deep sort of hook where in the straps. He loves going to the straps, getting this really deep hook. Once he sets that in, I mean, it's almost game over at that point. Very similar to, he looks very similar to Chance Shaw. So he has that sort of same build, that sort of thing where he can use that body weight, gets that deep hook in and sets, and just that body weight from that position. Even if he's not pinning from there, he's holding that spot until you can't hold it anymore, and then it's just straight through. So he's doing really well. I know he's training hard, so keep it up, Steve. Cohen McMahon. So Cohen, the unbreakable Mr. Press. Everyone cringes when they see you on the table because he loves to press as well, or gets in really deep with the press. Not as much of a flop wrist as what Richard Gibbs sort of uses, but his press is masterful. It's getting better every week. He's developing new ways to get into that position. Once he gets that body weight onto his sort of press movement, so he's got his arm there, he's pushing down, he's quick to get into that. I think he will be one of the sort of top guys to look out for, especially in his weight class, and he's only young as well. I think he just turned, or he's just about to turn 18, so one to keep your eye on there. Cohen, he's doing really well. All right, who else have we got here on my list? So people I wanted to keep an eye on. So Shane Opie out in the Riverland as well. He did really well in the beginners tournament. Big hands, very strong. Looks like he has a lot of technical knowledge. So if he keeps training, and hopefully he can keep attending in the events that we have on, I think he'll do really well. Who else we got? Connor, the commander, Connor Holdback. He's a bit of a legend. Fantastic puller, very technical. Seems to have been enjoying using a king's move. You can see almost a pure glee when he's sitting in a king's move and somebody else can't get through that. He's sort of sitting under the 70 kilo class. I think he's the low 60s, so he would love some opportunities to pull people that are around that similar weight, but his knowledge and his technical prowess on the table has increased, and he gets better every week. So we'll see if he can continue that rise as he continues his arm wrestling journey, and hopefully we can continue that with him. Madison, Mad Dog Madison. So he's doing really well. I think he started about 2 years ago, but hasn't been consistent. Probably more consistent in the last 8 months. Doing really well. My memories of Madison is usually him in the corner holding his arm in pain. He goes very hard at training. So I think over time he'll start to develop that sort of strength, that bone conditioning that is needed to be able to withstand the amount of arm wrestling that he wants to do. So keep it up, Madison. Looking at Corey Lynn is doing really well. He has had some good matches. He had a fantastic match with Connor at the Pancake Festival we had a couple of weeks ago. I think if he was more consistent with his training in the last couple of months, he would feel in a stronger position. I think he has potential to do really well in his weight class if he's more consistent. So be more consistent, Corey. We'll see how you go with it. All right. Adrian the Russian Zaks, he has been one of the best improved guys in the last, especially in the last probably 3 months. The Russian, he's getting the handle of all of the positions, the top roll especially. He's really regripping up high and quick and slamming through. He seems to sort of, as I was saying to him last week, he's sort of getting to 3/4 of the wave and then stopping. I'm like, just hit all the way through. He has massive potential. He's doing really well. He's in that lower weight class as well. Definitely a quiet, reserved, but intense guy. He has potential to do really well, and I think he's one of those dark horses that people are not taking notice of. I think if he sticks with it, give him another 6 months, he'll have risen up throughout the club rankings without a doubt. David Huck's out in the Riverland as well. Unfortunately had an arm break. So a couple of months ago he had a super match, and as unfortunately as can happen in arm wrestling, he broke the humerus bone. So he's on the road to recovery, but he is a very good puller, somebody to watch out for. If giving maybe another year of recovery and sort of getting back through that rehab phase, he'll be able to sort of sit back at the levels that he was at and hopefully continue to rise from there. So keep with it, David. We hope your recovery is going well. All right. Richard Broneslaw, which is Matt Biscoe's brother. So he has only just recently started arm wrestling. He's doing very well. He's getting the fundamentals down. You can see the similarities of that really strong wrist between him and his brother. So hopefully Richard will stick with it and continue to improve his game overall. Ryan Dalton, the Chameleon. Very intense, very good, nice guy. Really loves arm wrestling. You can see the passion that he's got whenever he comes and trains. Screaming through each match. He's awesome to see. Sort of sitting around that lower weight class as well. So him and Connor McMahon have been. Connor Holdback have been having some fantastic matches, and he has improved his game. He's getting stronger. He's only a young guy as well, so I think over the next year or two we'll see how much he can improve. I think he has potential. The passion that he has is really pushing him forwards and pushing through his growth there. So you're doing fantastic, Ryan. We love the efforts you're putting in. Keep coming in and keep training hard. All right. Just wanted to talk briefly about the ladies that have been coming into training. So we've had Staples, we've got Tina, and we've got Shelley. So both of these ladies have been around the game longer than I've been around. They're both doing fantastically. I know Tina has moved out with Richard into Whyalla recently, so haven't had as much of an opportunity to train, but when she came back recently, still felt just as strong, especially that left arm. She is doing fantastically out there. So hopefully she can continue some training, hopefully get some clubs happening up in Whyalla, get some people interested. We might do something with the Whyalla Fair at some point throughout the year. Whenever they have that, we'll get the club to come up there and put on an arm wrestling demonstration. Hopefully we can kickstart something for them in Whyalla there. Shelley Shelton Bird Dynamite is doing fantastic stuff. She recently got a pin on Tina, which I know was one of her goals. She's doing really well. One of the staples at the club. Friendly face, welcomes everybody, makes everybody feel really good when they walk in the door. Her game is improving. I think overall the strength, if she can increase her strength and timing, she will be a factor in the women's division. Kaylee Maldonado, Ryan Mclaren's wife, same thing. She is a national champion. Hasn't been able to compete for the last couple of years, so I'm not sure exactly where she's at, but I know at any point in time, if she put some time, dedication back into the game, she would probably come back in as number one in the state. So we'd love to see you back, Kaylee. Paula is a former Scottish women's champion, so she is on the comeback trail. Only recently joined the club, doing fantastic stuff, getting stronger every week, and bringing in some new and interesting people to the club. Her daughter's coming along and giving arm wrestling a go, and she's setting up marketing and events stuff as well. So she's helping the arm wrestling go into new fields, which is exactly what we need in the state to get the name out there. So thank you, Paula. You're doing really well. We love to see you at training every week. Who else have we got here? Oh, and Kat. So Richard's girlfriend Kat is a newcomer to the club as well. She's really picking up the skills and techniques. We always have a great time whenever these people turn up, and we always have lots of laughs, and that's half the fun of coming to the arm wrestling is that you can come to a training session and enjoy yourself, and that's what we're looking for. So Kat brings a great positive energy into the club. She's doing really well, and I think if she can stick with it, she'll really start pushing Shelley and a couple of the other girls in the club as to who the number one in the state is at the moment. All right, thank you guys. I just wanted to give that a little bit of a rundown of where I think people are at the moment. As I said, there's been a lot of cancelled events, and COVID has restricted our ability to have matches, so there's a few little question marks, but I sort of see how I see where people are sitting at the moment. So keep an eye on the SA Titans Facebook page and the Instagram account, which is at MattConnolly13. You can follow me there, or you can send me a friend request on Facebook, Matt Connolly. and you can follow the South Aus Arms Facebook page. We are there. We have events coming up all over the place. Tomorrow we are going to have our arm wrestling versus strongman event in the city. So we'll see how some of South Australia's strongest guys, men and women, go against our arm wrestlers. And then next Saturday we have our Open Slather, which is one of the local bands. We're helping support them. We're going to put on an arm wrestling demonstration there. So lots of things happening in the arm wrestling world. Stay tuned, and thanks for watching.
That's a man!